will start the webinar with the line said by Annie Lennox. Green is a label for a certain attitude to life, a certain kind of respect that one might have for the very source of things that we take for granted. Hello everyone, we appreciate your participation in today's webinar. Today we will address enhancing sustainability and marketability of building materials products through green certification with Professor Parakrama Karanaratne, Engineer Sena Peris, and successful story from the Altera Roofing Products Limited. If you have any questions during the webinar, please share them during Q&A session. We hope that you will feel more comfortable and confident about enhancing sustainability and marketability of building materials products through green certification by the end of our time together today. We are extremely enthusiastic about green certification for green labeling products and have many fascinating stories and insights to share with you today. You can expect each speaker to have the floor for about 20 minutes, and we will conduct a short Q&A at the end of the session. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our speakers. I warmly welcome our chairman of the Green Building Council of Sri Lanka, Professor Ranjit Dissanayake, who will be speaking on Introduction to the Eco-Labeling. Professor Ranjit Dissanayake is a senior professor in civil engineering at the University of Parakrama. He is a chartered engineer and a fellow of the Institution of Engineers Sri Lanka and holds membership from several other prestigious institutions. He was a Fulbright Scholar in the USA, Andrew Fellow in Australia, and Jasu Research Fellow in Japan. He was awarded the Young Scientist Award in 2007 for excellence in scientific research by the National Science and Technology Commission of Sri Lanka. He received the Overseas Prize of the Institution of Civil Engineers in the UK in 2007 and the Australia Alumni Excellence Award in 2012. He has published over 150 papers in reputed journals. He has also chaired more than 10 international conferences. And he is the chairman of the Green Building Council of Sri Lanka, the president-elect of the Institute of Engineers Sri Lanka, and a vice president of Chamber of Construction Industry. He is also the former secretary of the State Ministry of Rural Road and the State Ministry of Urban Development. Finally, he is the founder of several companies, including Lego International Private Limited, ICB Private Limited, Lanka ASC Private Limited, GAP Private Limited, and WSP Private Limited. Dear sir, time is yours.
Can I on my video, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Feel I can't on the video. It's okay, but yeah, that is okay. I can talk. No issue. I'll go without a video. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Samvidi, thank you very much for the kind introduction. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the webinar on the enhancement of the sustainability and the marketability of the building materials product through the green certification. As you all know that the Green Building Council of Sri Lanka intended to conduct this webinar with the aim of creating the opportunity for all, for those who are doing the manufacturing, export, import, and distribution of the building material and related products, while updating the knowledge and the skills of the professionals and the technical staff working in this area for the enhancement of the sustainability and the building material by obtaining the eco-labeling certificate. This webinar will also conduct as knowledge sharing and the intensive session, of course, with the guidance of the and assistance of the relevant industry expert, Professor Karanaratne and Engineer Sena Peris, as well as we are getting the expert from the industry too, where you will get an very good opportunity to share the industry experience of these well-known professionals and manufacturers. Those who obtain the green certification from the Green Building Council of Sri Lanka. Let me give you the brief introduction about the eco-labeling that we have at the Green Building Council of Sri Lanka. Eco-labeling is we use as a tool that can be used to measure the environment performance throughout the life cycle of the product, not at the usage, but from the beginning up to the end of the product, like until the demolition. The Green SL labeling system adapted the holistic approach based on the life cycle of the product. We encourage product manufacturers implement the measures that could result in the environment, health, and the well-being and the benefit, the following stages that means from the beginning to end. Just start with the how the raw material is obtained. So this is where we can think about how much damage that we are doing to the environment. So when the product which is manufactured out of the raw material will give the less impact on the environment, that is the good one. Why we do so? Because when you produce something out of different process, when you see the dimension and so forth, we can understand which product is better than that in terms of environment. Then of course we have to check the manufacturing process, how much energy is used, how much carbon dioxide emission, and so forth. Then when this raw material is transformed up to the final good, also we have to see how the process has been taken care of, right? Whether there are leakage, waste, how the burning system is done, and many things like that. Of course, the waste management throughout the processing of the material also important, and we again particularly think about is there any innovation has been taken within the process, and what are the social responsibility which is done through the manufacturing and so forth. And very important is the conformity to the standard is also look into the one of the aspects. And the life cycle assessment of the product. These are the area where we go through the process and certify the product. And according to the global eco-labeling network, the eco-labeling is the voluntary method of environment performance certificates. And the labeling that is practiced around the world, and this eco-label identify the product or the service proven to be the environmentally preferable within the specific criteria. So that by taking this kind of certificate, you can of course help the consumer to select the suitable product. This means the eco-labeling from us about the planet and the product come from which help the consumer make a decision which to buy, right? Because as I said before, when there are two similar products, they can understand which product is the more environment and so forth. So these are some of the things that we try to give by giving the certificate. And also the Green Building Council of Sri Lanka has launched the product certification scheme. We call it as a Green SL labeling system, which aim to environment encourage suppliers to the product produce the environment sound product and services to allow the consumer to make the comparison among the product services and the similar categories to make the more environmentally friendly decision to promote the sustainable manufacturing and consumption pattern in Sri Lanka. And finally, to smoothen the operation activity during the whole life cycle of the building where health and safety standard is required. The green SL labeling system is an ISO type 1 green labeling system, which involves the voluntary third-party certificate based on the multi-environmental criteria across the life cycle of product. Today, we have the very expert panel of speakers. They will give you the much more detail about the green certificate for the sustainable building material and product. End of the day, what Green Building Council of Sri Lanka is trying to transform the construction industry with the sustainable practices. So when you go to the sustainable practices, so our main area is to create the greener building. But when you go to the greener building, there are several from the our learned speakers. Thank you. Have a wonderful session. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Professor. Our next speaker is Professor Parakrama Karanaratne, who will be speaking on green labeling of sustainable building materials. Professor Parakrama Karanaratne is a professor attached to the Department of Chemical and Process Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka. He also served as a Deputy Director of the Center of Environmental Studies, University of Peradeniya. And he graduated at the Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya, and obtained his PhD from the University of Nova, Lisbon, Portugal. He is the founding president of the Life Cycle Assessment and Design for Sustainability Network in Sri Lanka, and a member of the Board of Directors, Sri Lanka Sustainable Consumption and Production Forum. He holds the membership of American Chemical Society and Sri Lanka Energy Managers Associations. Professor Karanaratne is actively involved in the promotion of concepts such as cleaner production, life cycle assessment, and environmental management. Dear Professor, time is yours.
Thank you, Chamoti. Let me share the presentation. You have to give me the permission.
Sure, sir. So can you share it now?
Yeah, let me check. Okay, good evening, everyone. And also, I would like to thank the Green Building Council for giving me the opportunity to do this presentation to promote the concept of sustainability among the construction material manufacturing companies. So basically, I'm going to discuss about the green labeling system that you have developed for Sri Lankan building material to improve the sustainability of the construction materials produced within Sri Lanka. So now, if you actually look at the construction industry locally and globally, so this basically contributes something like to 10% of the local GDP. Now, probably it is less because of the present situation, but probably that will be a temporary thing. And then globally, that contributes to something like 6% of the GDP. Then also, this is one of the fastest growing industries in Sri Lanka. At least that was one of the fastest growing. Again, because of the present situation, there is a temporary slowing down of the growth, but I'm sure that will be picked up in time to come. Then also, if you look at the future of this industry, so urban population will be a kind of double within next 40 years. So that means from 2.6 billion people to 5.3 billion. So that means actually you will not need more and more construction buildings to develop these cities. Then in addition to that, increase in population, economic growth, and then urbanization will definitely increase or the demand for these constructions and then buildings and other infrastructure. So this is a very important one of the largest industries locally and globally. But there are actually certain things that we have to be concerned. Now, for example, if you take this building, they consume up to 45 to 50% of the energy production globally. Consumes about 50% of the water that is being used. Then materials for buildings and other infrastructure, something like 60% of the material extracted goes to this construction industry. Then if you take the agricultural land loss, something like 80% of the land loss can be attributed to the buildings and other infrastructure development. Then if you take things like timber specific construction material, something like 60% of the overall timber product. And if you take hardwood, maybe 90% of that goes to the construction. And then also there are like this indirect impact of this for the coral destruction and then rainforest destruction, respectively 50% and 25%. So because of the sheer size of the industry and also probably because of the unsustainable practices of this industry, we have all these issues actually arising from the construction industry. In addition to that, actually, there are other environmental and health impact of building material, starting from this the air pollution, radiation, all those things. So this is just to show you that there are a lot of impact arising from building material for the environment and also health. Now, if you take actually these global environmental issues, one of the biggest problem that we are facing is the global warming due to the greenhouse gas effect, due to greenhouse gases that we emit during various activities. Then also the resource depletion, especially renewable and non-renewable resources are depleting at a faster rate than they can replenish, especially the renewable one. And then also things like this ozone layer depletion because of the substances that we emit through the use of air conditioning and so on. So these are actually very severe environmental issues. If you take even global warming alone, that will actually shape the future of our world. So that will decide whether we will be able to live in this planet or not even. So that severe is the problem of this global warming if we are not going to tackle it properly. Now, if you take actually the greenhouse gas emission from the global emission, like for example, this is actual 2010 data. So something like altogether 49 gigatons of CO2 equivalent GHG emission happened during that year. And out of that, there are direct emissions from the buildings, close to something like 6.5%. And then also actually due to the energy or the electricity generation, out of that actually something like 12% goes to the buildings, so used by the buildings. So that means actually something like 1/5 of the total GHG emission globally, actually you can attribute to these building related activities. So now we need to make sure that we have a sustainable construction industry. But what do you mean by actually a sustainable construction industry? A nice set of buildings like this looking very nice and maybe surrounded by a green environment. Yeah, this probably okay, but if you look at actually the overall picture, now the raw material that you used in this building, if they do a lot of damage to the environment when the raw materials are extracted, and also during the transportation of raw material, if you have a lot of emissions to the environment, to the atmosphere, then also during the use of this material, if you have a lot of water usage, energy usage, and so on, if they are required, then at the end of the life cycle of your building, if you actually dispose and then this is going to harm the environment, even though you have a very nice set of building in a green environment, we cannot say our construction industry is sustainable or green. So that means basically we have to have a bigger picture. We have to look at the bigger picture, not what you see through a nice building. Now, this actually, we need to have some kind of overall holistic view, or basically, as Professor Ranjit mentioned, we have to have some kind of life cycle perspective related to this building. Building, especially our focus is material used in the building. Now, the green labels, basically, or eco labels, they actually kind of means of communicating the sustainability of a product, especially certified or verified by a third party. So that is a kind of communication of the status of the sustainability of the material that you produce. So it also can be actually a marketing tool or credential for a manufacturing company. And a proper eco-label system will actually promote the innovation and then come up with new ideas, sustainability improvements based on this green labeling or eco-labeling system. And also, when you have this life cycle thinking or the perspective, actually you will have to look at the entire value chain or supply chain of your materials and product. And then when you identify the sustainability issues, like maybe through like this eco-innovation methods and so on, you will address them, because a proper eco-label system will actually look at the life cycle sustainability issues. And then also when you have the green label for your product, actually that will support the customers in selecting a greener or sustainable material. Because customers are not in a position to analyze all these sustainability issues of a product. But if there is a mechanism where actually a third independent party provide the certificate by going through the all the details of the manufacturing process and so on, life cycle sustainability issues, and then give a kind of certification saying that this particular product is green or eco or the sustainable, then actually customer will have that information and then they can select a more sustainable product or material. Now, this was actually the objective of having this green labeling system developed by the Green Building Council of Sri Lanka. Now, this actually is the second or the version 2. So earlier version, that was the first one, we had the system where we considered most of these life cycle environmental issues and so on, but there were certain drawbacks in that system. So while we did the assessment of these companies, we saw certain improvements are required. So those things were actually addressed in the second version of the green labeling system. And we came up with a kind of scoring system where actually we can rate the material or we can differentiate the performance of different producers. Now, basically the objectives of this present system is to have this life cycle environmental aspect taken into consideration, and then ensure that the manufacturing company, as much as possible, will address this life cycle sustainability issues, and without going for this greenwashing. because sometimes you can get a green label, but there are so many issues related to sustainability. If that happens, actually, the purpose of green labeling is lost, and also actually credibility of a system like this will not be maintained. So our objective of this development of this new system is to have a kind of scoring system based on this decided criteria along the value chain, and also taking into environmental, energy and health and safety related performance of the company. The scoring system address the main issues related to sustainability of product. And also, we need to make sure we cannot adapt a foreign one directly into Sri Lanka. So we need to make sure that the system that we develop within the country is actually appropriate for our users. So we had a lot of communications, consultations with the stakeholders during the development of this process to ensure that this system is applicable in the Sri Lankan context. So if you look at actually the eco-labeling system that we have developed, it has 10 areas of consideration. Management. So this is actually the marks given for each of these areas out of 1,000. So management, that is within the organization, management of environmental, energy, quality, all those things. Now, for example, if you have ISO 9001, 14,001, and then also 50,001, especially in this case, ISO 9001 and 14,001, and also the health and safety 45,001, you will get the full mark. So that is basically kind of to recognize the effort put by these manufacturing companies to obtain this certification. Then also the life cycle perspective, starting from raw material and the chemicals used. So there are criteria given under this one, and then there are total 190 points. Then the manufacturing process itself has 200 points allocated, because this is completely within the control of the manufacturer. So as a result, we gave a kind of higher marks for that. Then product characteristic should not contain a toxic material that can harm the environment or the users. And then also waste management within the company, solid waste, wastewater, the management of those things. The life cycle approach, as we discussed throughout. So the life cycle approach, like if you have done a kind of LC of your product and then taken actions to improve the product, then you will get 70 marks. Then greenhouse gas emission control management. So if you have kind of, let's say, for example, calculated your carbon footprint and then identified where the improvements are possible, and if you have taken actions, then you will get mark for this one, because as I mentioned earlier, this global warming is one of the things that we have to address, and the building sector is a large contributor to this problem. Then also we promote the kind of product stewardship, that is the manufacturer taking care of the product throughout after it leaves the gate. So as much as possible, they have to take the responsibility. Then health and safety improvement within the organization and beyond. And then special kind of innovative approaches, like eco-innovation. As I mentioned, eco-innovation is the kind of techniques that you can use to identify the life cycle sustainability hotspots, and then come up with strategies to address them. So if your organization has this kind of innovative method to improve the sustainability and has received awards and so on, you will earn something like 100 points maximum. So depending on the total, we have actually a kind of differentiation, which was not there earlier. Earlier, it was on-off type 1. So if you have a minimum, the marking above minimum, you will get, everyone will get the green certificate. So this actually is one of the problems, because there are certain companies, they do a lot of things to improve the sustainability, but some other companies just manage to go through the evaluation process, just get the pass mark. So if you put those two companies together, we thought like it is not fair by the company that has done a lot of things to improve the sustainability. So that's why basically we came up with this rating system, star rating system based on the overall score one can get. So like, for example, if a company get more than 700 marks, then your product will get the 5-star certification. That is the highest you can achieve in here. But also, like even in the earlier case, because I told you we don't want to greenwash products, so we have actually refused giving certification for certain product because they were not up to the standard. So it's not just for anyone we are not going to give certification, but these criteria should be fulfilled because we have to ensure that the product is actually green or sustainable product. So now the system actually provides guidance to manufacturers also, because this is a transparent method. So you will be given all the details, how we evaluate, what are things that we are going to look at. So even if you follow this the marking scheme and then improve your sustainability performance, actually that will improve your sustainability a lot. And that is what we want actually. So that is why it is a kind of transparent guide, the scheme. You will be given the scheme, so you can actually prepare your company according to that one. So then also, it's actually a means of recognition of the manufacturers who put a lot of effort to improve the sustainability. So it's not like everyone in one group now. Depending on how much effort you have put, you will be given a star rating based on the scores that you can earn. And also this will provide like the customers, maybe for these people who want to construct green buildings and so on, support to select properly sustainable materials. So once you have actually this green certification, they don't have to like get any other proof to show that these are sustainable material, but this itself is a proof for them. Then also the ultimate objective is, as I mentioned, to improve the sustainability of the construction industry, because as I mentioned, it has a lot of environmental, social impact. So this is our actually ultimate objective of the system. So thank you very much. That was a quick overlook of the system. So I think the discussion can come later. But thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and then also for your participation in this workshop. Shamodi?
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Engineer Sena Peris, who will be speaking on data management and organizational setup for green certification. Engineer Sena Peris is a mechanical and industrial engineer graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Engineering degree and has 35 years of experience in the Sri Lankan industrial sector. He has been serving as a consultant in the Faculty of Graduate Studies, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura since 2016 to present, and he is an authorized inspector of pressure vessels and a certified energy auditor. In 2002, he became the first director of the National Cleaner Production Center and served until 2013. He was the president of the Cleaner Production Professionals Forum of Sri Lanka, ISO 14001 EMS User Association of Sri Lanka, and an executive board member of the Sri Lanka Energy Manager Association. Finally, he is the former president of the Asia Pacific Roundtable for Sustainable Consumption and Production. Dear sir, time is yours.
Thank you, Chamadi. Let me share my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay. Thank you. And I think Professor Parakrama Karanaratne gave a very good start for me to continue. I will be not talking about the certification, the standard, and the scheme, but I will talk about the problems we face in data management and the organization setup in organizations, in companies for green certification. So my outline will be, first of all, this importance of measurement and monitoring performance, and then the internal benefits the company can receive, and then also the organization setup and how to face the green certification assessment successfully. As you know, any evaluator coming to certify any scheme has to depend on the data available with the company, because he or she is not in a position to look at the operations throughout the year. So at one point, probably 1 day or 2 days, or maybe maximum of 1 week, depending on the scheme, we will see, the evaluators will see what the organization is doing. So sometimes we have seen many organizations fail to have a proper data system. So this is unfortunate situation, and this is actually a problem in Sri Lanka, almost all manufacturing and service industries. So what if you want to become a certified company, then it is, I think, very important this organization have a data collection system, a proper system. It's not very difficult. I mean, day-to-day information can be collected and it can be translated or sent into maybe even a computer system, or even you can have a manual system. Today, of course, every organization is having computers, and IT departments are available. So everything can be converted into a computer system. So this the important area is for you to have data. There should be measurement. It may be different measurement. It can be physical measurement, like the length, breadth, or even the weight, or all that. Or it can be even other measurements, like maybe temperature, maybe pressure, or maybe even various measurements like electricity, water, all those things. So different kinds of instruments are available. Measuring instruments where you may measure only. Then you have monitoring instruments where you will maintain certain temperatures or pressures. So whenever it goes above or below, you have probably some sort of a control. It can be manual or it can be automatic. And then also these can be recorded, because the instruments also will have the recording. And when we do this, so I have given some examples. One important thing is, if these instruments are not working properly, but there are many situations we have seen when we go to the industries, the instrument is available, but there are sometimes the production manager or the person responsible doesn't know that the instrument is working. In one instance, I remember one manufacturing company. It's not a construction material, but a different manufacturing company. The thermometer, it was a ladder type thermometer. It was not working for 3 months. But unfortunately, the production manager was not aware of. That was full of water and it was not giving a reading. So what I want to say is, if you're having instruments, make sure they are working. And if they are giving proper information, which can be recorded manually, maybe the operator of various machinery can record it daily, every 1 hour, every 8 hours, something like that. That is something very important. Today, of course, we have advanced technologies like sensor technologies. Most of these functions can be done automatically. Automation is a very common thing. And this information can be converted into a maybe computer IT system. And there are, for example, in most of the buildings, even Sri Lanka, we have a couple of such buildings, building energy management systems, which will control all the the required parameters like lighting level, air conditioning, the temperature, or maybe if the temperature, depending on the number of people in the room, the temperature will be controlled. Or you can preset it. Similarly, the lighting level, if the people are not there, it will automatically shut off. So like that, there are several available systems which automatically control them. And these records are available in the system itself, so that you don't have to invent. You can extract the information from that one. So this is something very important. And having that, so you have to actually have a system for data collection and recording. Different parameters you may be having, maybe temperature, pressure, pH, humidity, lighting level, internal cooling, or maybe various other things you may be having. And the important thing is the operating staff should be trained. And just to mention, today, you hear about our health sector. In the health sector, more than 65% of all these instruments are not working. You hear it every day, almost every day, over thing. Is it the situation in our industries also? Because operating staff has to be trained. The operating staff should know when an instrument is working, and if it is not working, either he can correct it or he can give it to somebody else who can correct it. So we need instrumentation technicians. Probably the company can have. If your company cannot have, probably you can have. Maybe even the construction sector can set up a maybe instrument repairing center or something like that. The other important thing is whenever you have this, there should be what is called calibration. We have different organizations. I think the metrology department, where they do the weights and measures. I think they do a lot of calibration of instruments. And then ITI, Industrial Technology Institute, also do a lot of calibration. This calibration means to ensure the result is accurate. What you get, the indicated value is accurate. Unless you have this calibration, you won't be able to get you can't make sure. For 10 years, if you are using the same instruments without any calibration, what you are getting maybe a totally wrong figure. So therefore, these are important. And maintaining this data is very useful for the company to understand the trend of the company. If the company is performing better or is it going down, all those can be understood through data. And when the data is not available, that shows the lack of interest. There are many situations where we have gone for this evaluation. Sometimes the data is not available. So this is a very sad situation. Whenever data is available, sometimes we find it's very difficult to get it in one place because it's not having a proper system. So sometimes it takes about half an hour to find a particular data when we ask for it. So that system is not there in place. It's unfortunate. So I think we need, if you want to actually go for the green certification, it is very important that you have a proper data collection, recording, monitoring system, so that that system will give you any data within maybe seconds. I think that's a beauty in countries like Korea and Japan, where if you want any information, they say that they can give any information, whatever you require, within 30 seconds. I mean, that way we should also, I think, develop into that situation. And having said that, I think it's very important to understand, because this is benefiting the company. The company should have the key performance indicators, because these indicators can be measured only through data. So that will show you a performance. Because whenever we go, we ask for these KPIs, whether you have, what is the energy you consume for unit of production, or maybe water consumption per unit of production, or maybe the other way, how many units of product you make per unit of energy, or something like that. So we call energy productivity, or maybe specific energy consumption. So different KPIs can be developed by the company. We are not very particular about how the KPI is developed, as long as you have the KPIs. And then also even waste generated. So if we know the waste generated per unit of production, we know how well that company is performing. Because if more waste means the performance is poor. So lesser waste means the performance is good. So you should be able to show in a material balance or an energy balance, or maybe in a water balance, that how well you are using this energy, water, and even raw material. Then industries can develop their own KPIs. and because it changes from industry to industry, that we are not as evaluators, we are not going to suggest any KPIs. And if you need, you can ask Green Building Council. There we can provide some assistance, right? And also that you will be able to understand where your resources are going, how much you are actually producing. And this is something very important, because more resources used for making a product can contribute to the economic profit making. On the other side, that can lead to environmental heavy environmental impacts, or it can be even a high stress to the employees also. So the monitoring all these KPIs is very important. On one side for your profitability, maybe revenue generation. On the other side, environmental performance, and also for the employee welfare. So the other important thing is, what is your organization setup for green certification? So when the evaluators come to your company, you know the scheme is available. That I found that sometimes it takes little time for them to get the team into one place. Now, when the evaluators come, the people should be ready, and they should be able to face immediately the evaluators actually questions, submit the documentation, and then also answer the question. So one person may not be able to answer all the questions, but we need one person to coordinate. That is something very important. The person who is coordinating should have a team to support them. So probably one person will be looking at energy, some person may be looking at water. So, but they should be available to provide this information. So this organizational setup is very important whenever you face the green certification. And this person, the coordinator, should have centrally all the relevant information records related to what Professor Karanaratne mentioned, all those different sectors, right? All those are, there are documents to prove that what you are doing, because based on that only we can give marks. We can go and have a look at inside the factory, but only it's like a snapshot. We see it only for half an hour. So we don't actually believe that look can give marks. So we have to depend on data. So all the records are very important. So every record, sometimes people take hours to find records. Sometimes the information is outdated. For example, sometimes we are given certain certificates, maybe ISO certificate, or maybe the Central Energy Authority, the EPL certificate. Sometimes they don't know that the date is actually passed. So you have to go for the new one. The new one is not available. And they say, we have applied for it, we have not got it. But it's not the case. You have to actually show them, this is the correct one, the current one, which is valid. If it is not available, then it should be informed that we have applied for it. This is the older one, but we are waiting. We have paid money. We are waiting for them. And if it is the case, you should have a letter from that particular organization to say that this will be pending and will be issued very soon. And once you get that, it should be immediately passed to the Green Building Council to verify that you have got the updated, the current, the certificate, whether it's for ISO, whether it's for environment, whether it's for labor, whatever it is. And then also all the other relevant employee records, the accidents, the leaving, the various CSR work, all those should be actually, records should be available with the coordinator. And I think one problem, I think Professor Parakrama also mentioned about this innovation. Innovation is something happening sometimes at the ground level. It's unfortunate, most of the managers don't understand the innovation. Sometimes the worker themselves find a shortcut or maybe a better way to do a job. So that is also innovation. So the companies do not maintain these innovations and do not recognize these employees' innovation. Because sometimes by questioning, we have found that these are actually happening. Then, of course, innovation is a major requirement for your future growth. The encouraging employees to do more innovation is something important. Then this evidence document, as I told you, and other visual data. If you have any videos for the past information, the past activities, maybe even innovation, that it should be made available immediately. And this validity of document is something very important. Finally, when you, before this thing, that we should ensure that they have all this economic data, environment data, and social data. When I say social data, is mostly about the employees. And this may include maybe production data, resource consumption, and maybe procurement of material, all those. And especially, sometimes the resources are taken from maybe outside, maybe minerals or metals, then there should be enough evidence to show that this company is taking care to make sure that remediation actions or rehabilitation actions to prevent the negative environmental impacts are no longer there. And if you remember recently, this GSMB, when they were taken to the COPE committee, and there was accusation, almost 60% of the extraction sites are not properly remediated. I don't know how far this is correct, but this is what they said. So you can even actually listen to this COPE. So this is important, and also the social data also is very important about employees, accidents. If the accidents are happening, what action we are taken. So all those are very important, and even labor turnover. If the people are leaving, why? And if that is the case, maybe they are migrating. That's okay, but the company should have some sort of a mechanism to understand why the people are leaving. And then what are the benefits, what are the safety and health, I think is one of the major factors to be considered, and even the job context. So in addition to that, we need evidence on your awards, recognition, certification, whether you have any patents and intellectual properties you got for innovation. So these are also very important. Whenever you face an assessment, these are required to be presented to the evaluators. So yeah, in addition to that, make sure the place is clean. Good housekeeping is something very important. And not only clean, it should be organized, internal environment. There should not be leaks. There should not be waste dumping here and there. And a clean floor, clean walls, all those are very important. And also external environment also should be, if not possible with plants and greenery, that should be clean. You should not have various places dumped with waste and coming out with excuses. This belongs to maybe the customs, we are able to remove it. Those are actually not only excuses. We make sure that they are either properly taken to some other place, or maybe at least put a label or some sort of a, identification. This belongs to some, and to be removed by when. Then the water drainage and the mosquito breeding prevention should be there. Another important thing is there should not be complaints from neighbors, customers, or suppliers. You must maintain a complaint register to see if there are anything, and you should disclose them. And we have a complaint like this, but we have taken action like that. And also, in addition to that, of course, the novel activities like the solar, the rooftop solar, maybe wind systems, maybe solar water heating, the biogas plants, or any other such improvement, the environmentally friendly improvements should be presented very clearly to the evaluators for them to understand your progress. I think with this way, I will stop. And if you have any questions, probably, then we can talk. Thank you. Over to you, Chamodi.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is representing Altero Roofing Products Limited, who will be speaking on successful story of their journey through green certification. Mr. Gopi Kumar is Safety Executive. And yeah, Mr. Gopi, time is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think all can see the screen. Sure.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
I'm here to present about the growth of El Toro through green building certification. Actually, the sustainable product is the current market trend. Being certified under green building does enhance the sustainability and the marketability of the products worldwide. I just give the brief introduction about El Toro. Actually, the El Toro have initially had a concern about the environmental protection, and at the designing stage, the El Toro have already planned for its sustainable growth. So that was very easy for us to get this green label certification and other required certifications for the products. So our this is the first company in Sri Lanka, and also only one company in Sri Lanka manufacture eco-friendly fiber cement products using environment-friendly raw materials. New technology El Toro seeds are manufactured and marketed in Sri Lanka since 2017. And our head office is located in Colombo base 9 baseline, and the factory is located northwest in Chilau area called Anavilindala. So currently we do have these certifications. We have the first one, apart from the green building, the 9001, ISO 9001 quality management system, 14001 is environmental management system, ISO 45001 health and safety management system, and the CE is a conformity of European. It's actually for the Europe export purpose, and the UKCA it's a special for the UK, United Kingdom. SEA it means that conformity assessment. So also the ISO 14061 2018 inventory management system. We have inventory management system for the factories, and zero carbon neutral carbon for our head office. And also recently we obtained a co-label from the NCPC. So here I try to explain the production growth. Actually, we have started the commercial in 2017, and also 18. We had no any standards. We just we sell locally, and we started to go for standardization after 2018. So first we obtained all the 3 ISO, health, safety, and environment, and also the quality management systems. Then in 2019 we applied because we study the market trends, and we came to know that green building and also the green product is one of the demand locally and globally. So we after we in 2020 we applied for green building certification, and we got it. And after that, you can see the growth. It support with the with having all the standards. We have a very remarkable growth. If I can say this in a vertical line, you can see tonnage. In 2017, we made only 8,500 tonnage per year. But as we approach to the 2021, we have a magnificent growth. So per year, we made 35,000 tons. So that was a marketing requirement. So this is we can say this is very good achievement, supported by all having all the standards in place. Here I can say in 2020, as we have all the eco labeling and all green building certifications, we obtain market export market 30%. So, for example, currently we are exporting our products to UK, Spain, Pakistan, and many other countries. So here, just give some small introduction about our portfolio. Applications: suspended ceiling, flat ceiling and exposed rafter ceiling, partition board, flooring, flooring, roof tiles. So these are the main products we are marketing, and which is available in various thickness. It starts from 3.5 to 20 millimeter, and also available various product sizes starting from 2x2 to 8x4. So its texture is smooth, and so let's talk about the wood range. So we have the wood range, value-added products, fascia, siding, soffit, board, fence, style strip, skirting, luminal lap, siding, pool deck plan, exterior deck plan. Wood substitute. These are the wood substitutes we currently market. So actually the raw material which we use for our products is very important when we talk about the sustainability developments. So in order to achieve the sustainability goals, we must have a consideration from the raw material input. So the following raw materials we use for our product: silica sand. We utilize high quality silica sand and natural and abundant resource as one of the key ingredients. Silica sand reinforces the cement matrix, enhancing the product's strength and durability. Cement, we use Portland cement. The inclusion of cement in our fiber cement products ensure the structure, integrity, and strength. Cement acts as a binder, holding the other ingredients together and providing strength to the final product. So the one main important inclusion, the cellulose. Actually, we import from the foreign countries. The cellulose derived from sustainable sources, such as responsibly managed forests, serves as a reinforcing agent in our fiber cement flat sheet. It enhances the overall strength, dimensional stability, and resistance to impact. The next one, aluminum hydroxide. Our product incorporates aluminum hydroxide as an additive. Water. Actually, water, we have a harvesting system. So we also we use raw water from the harvesting, and also we extract from the ground. Water is an essential ingredient used during the manufacturing process of our fiber cement thread sheet. It aids in the proper mixing and curing of the materials, leading to a strong and reliability in product. Sustainable aspects of El Toro fiber cement products. Reduced carbon footprint. As I mentioned before, so we do have a 14060 standard. So we have to keep the inventory, and in order to improve the processes and reduce the greenhouse gas effect. El Toro fiber cement flat sheet has a significantly lower carbon footprint compared to traditional building materials such as concrete. The manufacturing process utilizes energy efficient methods and optimized resource utilization, resulting in reduced greenhouse gas emissions. And also El Toro is certified ISO. Okay. The responsible ingredient resource. Actually, we use registered supplier. So we have evaluated the supplier. So where they get the raw material from? Is it sustainable? So what sort of certification do they have? So we already evaluated the suppliers, and we have listed them for our raw material resource. We energy efficiency. When we talk about energy, we have latest technology, IE3 motors and VFD control system, which reduce the energy consumption. The excellent insulation properties of, apart from that, the excellent insulation properties of our fiber cement sheet contributes to energy efficiency in buildings by reducing heat transfer and improving thermal performance. It helps reduce energy consumption for heating and cooling, thereby lowering down the carbon emissions. So when we talk about the durability and longevity, our product is compliant with EN 12467 and ISO 8336. So that means it's a durable and longevity. We have tested the resistance to fire. So reaction to fire A1 certified according to EN 13501. Recyclability. Talk about the recyclability. The El Toro fiber cement sheet is designed for recyclability. At the end of its long service life, the product can be recycled and repurposed, reducing waste and contributing to a circular economy. So this is the material we can reuse, recycle, reuse for the products. In summary, low environmental impact in traditional buildings materials. El Toro fiber cement sheet combines durability, adaptability, and exceptional performance with a strong focus on sustainability through the utilization of responsible ingredient sourcing, reduced carbon footprint, energy efficiency, and recyclability. We aim to provide a high-quality building material that meets the demands of sustainable construction practices by minimizing the environmental impact. So again, we talk energy efficiency, our sustainable features and benefits of El Toro products. So low thermal conductivity than concrete. So actually, our fiber cement products provides excellent insulation properties, as I mentioned, contributing to energy efficiency building. It helps reduce heat and cooling demands. For example, concrete 0.80 watts meter Kelvin, and our product El Toro product is 0.25 watts meter Kelvin. So 50%, more than 50% reduction in thermal conductivity. Moisture resistant. So when we talk about moisture resistant, our product is highly resistant to moisture, preventing water damage and growth of mold and fungi. This promotes healthier indoor environments and reduces the need for maintenance replacement. Adaptability and design flexibility. Adaptability and design flexibility. Fiber cement products offer adaptability in design and application, allowing architects and builders to create sustainable and aesthetically pleasing structures. This promotes creativity while adhering to the sustainable principles. Health and indoor air quality. Our product is free from harmful chemicals and volatile organic compounds, contributing to better indoor quality and a healthier living or working environment. Actually, locally we talk about the green building certification, which also called in foreign countries LEED. So LEED with leadership in energy and environmental design. So the assessment and the process are both are same, but use with a different name. If you use this certification, like the company having a certification LEED, or they want to go for a LEED certification or green building, this our product will supports support to obtain their certifications like green building or LEED. Why we are choosing green labeling for El Toro fiber cement products? El Toro recognized the significance of sustainability in the construction industry and is committed to provide environmentally friendly fiber cement products. Here are the reasons why we choose to pursue green labeling certification to for our fiber cement products. Environmental responsibility. Obtaining a green labeling certification aligned with the core value of environmental responsibility. We believe in minimizing the impact of our products on the environment and promoting sustainable construction practices. A certification like validates our commitment to sustainable and provides predictability to our clients. And also meet customer expectation. Customers, architects, and builders increasing prioritize sustainability when choosing building materials. Green labeling certification assure them that our fiber cement products meet recognized sustainability standards. By obtaining certification, we demonstrate our dedication to meeting exceeding customer expectations. And also regulatory compliance. Green labeling certification helps us comply with evolving regulation and sustainability requirements. It ensures that our products align with environmental regulations and initiatives, providing reassurance to customers who prioritize compliance and sustainable building practices. Advantages and benefits of having green label products. Market differentiation. Green labeling certification allows our fiber cement products to stand out in a competitive market, locally or internationally. So it provides a clear differentiating factor, demonstrating our commitment to sustainability. This distinction attracts environmentally conscious customers who actively seek our green label product. Consumer confidence and trust. Green labeling certifications enhances consumer confidence and builds trust in our brand products. It assures customers that our fiber cement products have undergone rough assessment and stringent sustainability criteria. This trust translates into increased brand loyalty and customer satisfaction. So what are the environmental benefits? Green label products contribute to environmental preservation by using sustainable ingredients and reducing environmental impact. Our fiber cement products help mitigate climate change, conserve natural resources, and minimize waste. This supports the overall goal of achieving a greener, more sustainable environment. Market demand for sustainable environmental friendly building materials. There's a growing market demand for sustainable and environmentally friendly building materials. Several factors contribute to this demand. Climate change awareness. Increased awareness of climate change has led to a shift in consumer preference. People are actively seeking products and materials that minimize carbon emissions, reduce resource consumption, and contribute to a greener future. Green building initiatives and a rating system have gained significant momentum worldwide. These initiatives encourage and reward the use of sustainable and certified materials in construction projects. Builders, architects, and developers are increasingly seeking products that align with these initiatives to meet sustainable goals and achieve the certification. When we talk about health and well-being, consumers are more conscious of their health and well-being aspects of buildings. They prioritize materials that enhance indoor air quality, no chemical exposure, and promote a healthier living or working environment. Corporate sustainability initiatives. Many corporations and organizations have committed to sustainability as part of their corporate social responsibility. They prioritize the use of environmentally friendly products and material to meet their sustainability targets and align with stakeholder expectations. So by responding to the market demand for sustainable and environmental friendly building materials, El Toro's green label fiber cement products cater to the needs of environmentally conscious consumers and contribute to a more sustainable construction industries. So what are the challenges and success with green label product? One of the main challenges we initially encountered with green label products was the misconception that they may compromise or performance or be more costly compared to traditional alternatives. However, through extensive research and development, we were able to overcome these challenges and demonstrate that green label fiber cement products can offer equal or superior performance while remaining cost effective. One of our greatest success has been the widespread adoption of green label fiber cement products in commercial and residential projects. Project architects, builders, and developers have embraced the sustainability benefits and recognized the positive impact these products have no on the environment. This shift mindset has resulted in increased demand and market acceptance of green label fiber cement products. So, so mainly we focused on the product application and the sustainable development by the users, and also the production process we have not included here. So also we have sustainably managed the health and safety of, and we look after the health and safety of the each employees, and we keep a high standard to achieve the sustainability goals. With that, I conclude my presentation. So, is there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Gobi. We will go ahead and take some time for question now. You can use both language during Q&A session. Any questions to your audience?
They can type the question in the chat box also. They don't want to speak.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
We can hear.
Yeah, my question is, sir, you have mentioned earlier that you have there are some products that you have blacklisted. What is the base for that decision? That means you have blacklisted any companies or as a product?
Yeah. It's not blacklisted. We have not given the certification. It's different because they don't meet certain criteria. Because there are qualifying things. For example, they need to have a valid EPL, and they need to have certain things defined in our system. And also, like for example, actually. For two cases, one is actually the health and safety. There was a serious concern about their health and safety practices. Now, for example, if you give the certification and later on, if this company has a very serious accident, then it's not going to be good for this certification system also. So that is one thing. And then there was another company, actually, they consume a lot of energy and they don't have any kind of management system to control the energy. Even after we kind of insist in that they can actually save a lot by going for a good, at least doing audit and then doing some improvement, they didn't want to do. So likewise, so these are things. It's basically the violation of the conditions or the requirements given in the system. It's not blacklisting, but we did not offer the certification.
Actually, what I was wondering, have you considered some kind of industry that we are not going to give energy certification to this particular industry, whatever the company is?
Yeah, there are certain conditions. Like for example, the product should not have certain the harmful compounds. For example, at the moment, the general acceptance is asbestos is harmful. So likewise, based on what is in there, what kind of impact to the human health and the environment, there are restrictions actually.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Is there any questions? We have a question. Is green certification connected with the SDGs? Sir?
Karu, will you answer?
You can take it, Ms. Peris. Yeah.
Okay. No, there's actually SDG is a international commitment by countries. So that SDG has regarding energy, water, and also sustainable consumption and production, and also even construction, different kinds of targets and also criteria. By doing green certification, you may be fulfilling some of the SDGs within the organization. But when it comes to the country, maybe the green certification will help to reduce the overall environmental impacts, or maybe even overall social impact. Other than that, there's no direct relationship between SDG and green certification. And even, ISO is a different standard, where SDG is not a standard, it's a commitment by countries to meet by 2030. So therefore, there's no direct connection. But by doing ISO, you can reach SDGs better. The same applies for the green certification.
Yeah.
Any questions? Anything else you want to touch on before we end the session? Okay, I think that's all our questions. Well, that's all we have got for you here today. Thank you for joining Green Building Council of Sri Lanka to discuss the topic enhancing sustainability and marketability of building material products through green certification. We appreciate you signing in and hope you learn our goal. Before we signing off, I would love to tell you about our promotion campaign for the green labeling certification and Associate Professional Training Program, Batch 44. Registration is still opening to you. Feel free to reach out to us via email. We will see you next time. Good night. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.